This time last week, I'd have told you that there's nothing Trump could do that would inspire his Christian base to speak out against him. But it turns out I was wrong. All he had to do was a single non-evil thing, and holy shit, did they find their voices in a hurry. I'm talking, of course, about Trump's executive order last week that sought to lower the cost of in vitro fertilization. IVF is a subject with overwhelming support from the population across all religious denominations, and it especially has the support of billionaire ketamine addicts that subscribe to white replacement theory, so it's no surprise that Trump supports it. It's one of the few things he remembered to talk about on the campaign trail amidst his constant digressions about sharks and boat batteries. But that didn't stop evangelical Christians from freaking the fuck out when he actually tried to do something about it. Now, to be clear, he hasn't actually done anything, and he won't. The EO is aspirational. It calls for a list of ways to lower cost in the next 90 days, which is exactly nothing. But even that was too much for the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops' Committee on Pro-Life Activities. They released a statement condemning the order and blathering about life beginning at conception and IVF freezing innocent pre-fetuses. Now, to be clear, the Trump regime is eviscerating Medicaid and government spending in general, so there's no fucking way they're actually going to lower IVF cost. If anything, they're going to raise them by throwing so much of the medical industry into chaos and defunding relevant research. So at this point, it seems like this executive order is all downside for him, which is, ironically, its only real upside. And believe it or not, that's not where the good news ends today. I'm also happy to report that the Supreme Pontifical Court of the United States of Jesus has declined an opportunity to further restrict abortion access. A lawsuit out of Southern Illinois was challenging the practice of creating legally protected safe zones around abortion clinics. And much to my surprise, the SCOTUS didn't take the chance to eliminate them. Now, this is only good news in a very narrow sense. It's likely that they declined this case because they were waiting for a better challenge. The law at issue in this one was actually repealed last year. And even with that, Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas still wanted to hear the case. But for now, at least, those buffer zones will remain in place. Of course, given Trump's hard-on for pardoning people who violate them, I'm not sure how meaningful that will be in the long run. All right, enough with the good news. It's time to hit you with the scary shit. Have y'all heard of the SAVE Act, or the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act? It's one of the House Republicans' highest priorities now that they've squeezed their budget through. And the ostensible goal of the act is to protect against voter fraud. But since voter fraud all but doesn't exist, you kind of have to ask what the real goal is. Well, when I explain how it'll work, I feel like it'll be fairly obvious to you. See, the SAVE Act would require all voters to present documentation like a passport or birth certificate that matches their current name in order to vote. And gee, which segment of the population changes their last name most often? Now, this may not disenfranchise all women, but all it does is disenfranchise women and trans people. That's the entire result, and it's plenty worth being all the way terrified over. And with that reminder that the countdown to Gilead has just got that much shorter, I'll wrap things up and hand you back over to Noah, Eli, and Marsh.